If you were in Friends, who would you be?
Oh, I think I'll be Joey. Yeah, just a bit.
What is it Joey used to say?
How you doing?
Hi everyone, my name is Spencer Lodge.
And I'm Lewis Allsopp. Welcome to The Close.
Welcome to the show this week, folks. As you can see, we're in a bit of a different setup, a different surrounding. We're in a proper studio.
I know, it's better than your studio.
Oh.
To be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah. You don't think?
Are you serious?
Well, look at this. Look. If you got that screen, a logo like that, a TV, no. Have you got this table? No.
What about these
yellow
mustard chairs?
So no, it's not on the same level.
These chairs, I think, are going cheap from the studio. So if you want to put an offer in or a bid in, then please go ahead. So you can get them for a couple of $100 dirhams each. Wouldn't be my choice of colour in someone's home, though. Okay, today, what we're talking about today, let's give our viewers something worthwhile today. Oh, by the way, likes, shares, all that kind of stuff, follows, at Lewis Allsopp on...
_ Dubai. Lewis _ Allsopp Dubai.
That's a bit long, isn't it?
Well, Lewis Allsopp was taken. There's obviously another cool Lewis Allsopp out there.
Oh, man. At Spencer.Lodge. So much easier.
Lewis
or make it happen yourself. You follow me. Don't follow him. Follow me, all right? Whatever you do, do not follow. So you've got a subject that we were talking about earlier about millennials and not buying. Okay, let's just talk about that for a minute, because if you're in the age bracket of kind of like 25 to 35, you'll consider yourself probably right now to be a millennial.
Yep.
You fit into that category?
I do, yeah. 25
not
to 35.
mentally. Not mentally.
Just fit into it. 32.
And if you're a millennial like Lewis and you got more than a B in drama, it was a B?
It was not, yeah, it was a B. It was a good B. We keep bringing this up, but I passed the GCSE, okay? Let's just clear that up.
Then you're a millennial that's more intelligent than Lewis. How about that? Okay, so why don't they buy? Do you find a problem with them buying? Do they have a different mentality to people of my age when it comes to buying real estate? What do you experience?
Two things for me. First of all, I don't think a lot of people can afford to buy. I think that's a big factor. We're going to take Dubai out of the equation. Let's just say Dubai is unaffordable at the moment for first-time buyers, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Let's push that to the side. But you look at people in the UK, you know, house, I think the big difference...
Can't you get 100% mortgage in the UK?
I think you get 90, 95, I think the government are coming up with. They'll actually fund you some of the deposit.
So can a millennial not find 5%?
The friends I've got in England are on £25,000, £30,000 a year. After paying all their bills, you save for a couple of years, realistically, after holidays and everything else. It's not as simple just to go and do it. So I think two things. I think, first of all, people's priorities maybe are not in the right place. I've got friends that are 25, 26, 27, 30 that still live with their parents. You know, I moved out of my parents' house at 18. That's just the type of guy that I am when I moved to Dubai and did what I did. But you definitely got the mentality factor where it's easy, and I've heard some people say, "Oh, well, it'll be my house one day." That's one that I always hear as well.
What is it?
It'll be my house one day anyway.
Ah, I'll inherit it.
Exactly, which is not my mindset, because surely you want to enjoy your life from 20 till 60 off your own success and your own privacy in your own house. So I think that's definitely one factor in it, that people think that they're going to inherit it and they're going to have it anyway. But the other factor is affordability. I think that if you use UK as an example, the average salary versus cost and living, and after paying your car and potentially your holidays and whatever else you're doing, people would rather spend the money on beer and the weekend, which is a massive thing in England. You look at, you know, the UK, it is built on, you know, a lot of weekends and weekends away and drinking, and that's the culture, which is fine. But at some point that should be stopping, and you think about buying a house. The only time I ever see that change is when someone has to buy a house.
They've got no option but to.
So if they have kids, so I've got a couple of friends that have got kids in the UK, and the minute they realise they're pregnant or they're going to have a baby, they start to, oh my God, we need to do this now.
Okay, let's just eliminate the people that live with their parents.
Yeah.
If they don't live with their parents, they're renting.
Yes.
Okay, so a young couple.
Yeah.
Both got an income. If they're only 30,000, then that's 60,000 if they're both earning an income. So they potentially, if they rent together, have the capacity maybe to save a little bit more and be a little bit wiser, yeah? So is it financially driven for millennials not to want to buy it? Or is there some undercurrent, some other reason that's stopping them saying, you know what, I want to get involved in that?
And the way the world is today, let's say when you were born, usually an example, you're 50? In like 1930, when Spencer was born.
I was born in 1970.
Close. you couldn't go around the world. So this is another big factor in it, is that you couldn't go and Mykonos or Santorini or Ibiza, wherever it is in the world. You couldn't go and live there. You couldn't go into sort of planes. I know what you're going to say, but how many more?
What, in 1970 or when I was a young man?
Let's use 1970. If you look at how many people today travel the world for months on end.
Oh yeah, okay. There's more
and
people
they go and
that.
live in Dubai or whatever they're going to go and do. No one really sets their roots down. When my mum and dad bought the house, their first house, they thought they were going to be there forever and they'd upgrade and go again. The amount of people I speak to now don't know if they're going to be in England or don't know if they're going to be in Dubai.
But do you know how many Brits live overseas?
Tell me.
5 million.
It's quite a lot.
So 5 million Brits live overseas. The largest number of Brits living overseas live in America.
Yeah.
Okay. Then Australia. Then Spain.
So these people, they don't want to put down their roots. And to be honest with you, if you're living around the world, you've got to be living there a couple of years, 3-4 years before you end up buying a house. So the millennials, I think, at the moment are probably enjoying their life to a degree and not worrying too much about where they're going to be in 50 or 60, which, if we're going to be honest with you, they'll be up shit creek when they're 50 unless their inheritance comes in because they've got nothing behind them.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of friends that do travel the world. They have an amazing life, but behind them, they've got nothing.
So how then do you, at your age, with the people that you know,
yes,
how do you, based upon what your real kind of like values and principles,
yep,
how do you convince them, or how do you try and persuade them, or try and get them to understand the value, okay, or the benefit in going ahead and getting themselves on the property ladder?
You don't need to. I mean, and I know the benefit, but if you're talking about people that live with their family, I'm sure my mum would have kicked me out by now. And I'm sure that, if you've got living with your family, it's the comfort factor. So I don't know. I don't think you can convince someone. I think you've got to be put in a situation where you're having a child, you've been kicked out, and you think, what do I want to do? The first step in the UK is parents renting, buying, selling, carry on. Dubai, there's no parents. You go to renting. So you circle there straight away. If you think about it, you go from renting, you go to buy.
So then do you think that your sales guys that work at Allsopp and
Yes.
Allsopp, do you think they have trouble convincing the renters
Definitely.
to buy?
100. Literally had a conversation about it today. People have this conception of money where if someone's paying 100,000 dirham in rent, that's an invisible pot of money that they use. So, I'm not going to buy in the property market. Prices are going to come down. I'm just going to carry on renting. So, but they'll spend 100 grand on rent, but they won't buy a million dirham property. And even if it goes down 10%, you're still in a better position than renting.
Yeah. If we look at that though, and you consider lots of the episodes that we've done already, this has kind of like been a theme through the shows.
Definitely.
Where that people are kind of hung up or sold themselves on their own reality that buying's not possible.
Yep.
Renting is possible, and so that's the only option that they've
Yep.
got. Yeah. And so as we go through these shows and we see that, how do we go about giving people really logical, if we got a flip chart right now,
Yeah.
okay, and did some mathematical calculations,
Yeah.
would it be beyond a doubt that it makes more sense to buy?
There's not even a question about it.
Okay.
I just refer to the same thing. Buy a house and you can lose 10% in the value. So the market can crash in a year and you're still better off renting, not renting.
All right, fair enough. So then if you think about that, is it not right then that people should be more educated than they are? Because essentially they're uneducated and they're making emotional decisions rather than economical decisions.
Goes back to the millennials where they are. How many people do I know that have moved to Dubai a year ago or 2 years ago? Their first thought factor isn't going to be, I should buy a house. It's I'm going to go to Barasti or I'm going to go to the World Cup final, which I am. If we win. It's coming home.
Can't believe he said that before. This episode's going out next week, so it's going to be after the World Cup.
We've won the World Cup by the time we've watched this video. It would have come home at this point.
So if you're watching this when it comes out, I sincerely hope he's right. I really do. So this is for me what's really interesting, because the other aspect you've got to consider is that lots of people come to Dubai and don't know how long they're going to be here for.
It's everyone. Unless you own a business or you own a property, how many people come to Dubai? These is 2 years. Once them 2 years finishes, they go, what happens next? Do I get a new job? Do I not get a new job? The minute someone loses a job in Dubai, trust me, every person thinks, is it time to move back home? That's just the way Dubai is. So the settled people buy properties here, but there's so much of an influx of people coming to Dubai that are new, and their first thought process, no matter how much money they've got, isn't, I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to rent first, see what happens. That's everyone that moves to Dubai.
Okay, so then actually here in the UAE, millennials or many people don't buy because their fear is that they won't be here long term, or they won't, if they lose their job, they might not be able to get another job and pay their mortgage, etc.
Just to buy. If you take millennials there, they could be in Greece, they could be anywhere. That's just the way of the world at the moment. People are going to see more of the world than they are of settling down and putting their roots and saying, I'm going to be here for 50 years, I'm going to have my kids here and I'm going to die here, which is nice. You know, economically, it's not correct. It's not the best way to be doing it. But, you know, I think people are seeing a lot more of the world today. But the trade-off with that is they're losing their stability and their future in their assets. So that's just the way of the world at the moment. The world is very transient.
So ask the studio. Raise your hands if you rent. Raise your hands. You live with your parents, so you rent. You pay housekeeping money?
No, I pay rent.
You rent? Amma rents? So people here in the studio, everyone rents?
Yeah.
Okay, it's only me and you out of everyone here across all of there that are buyers. So we're owners, so we're the minority.
But they're the future buyers. How long do you think? A mortgage for $1 million dirhams is 4,500 dirhams. How much do you pay? More than 4,500
per month?
Do you pay more than 4,000? Do you pay? So you're looking at $500,000. You'd be looking at $1 million, but that's 2,000 for $500,000. So it does make sense still to buy a property. $1 million is 4,500 dirhams repayment. So it does make sense, but people don't have the down payment to do it, or they just come to Dubai. But going back to what we're talking about as millennials, that's just because people may have been here for a year or 2 years. In 3 or 4 years, the tenant will be the future buyer.
But then you've got to consider the other people, the kind of the laptop lifestyle people that are out there in Bali building their digital business online, which means that, you know, they don't want to be anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Which is, again, we'll go back to it. If you own Airbnb, or you have an Airbnb, or you own Uber, you don't need to be anywhere. It's tech. The world is tech. You know, people don't put their properties for rent anymore. They go to Airbnb. That's one of many things where the world is going. You know, you can order your food on InstaShop. So, you don't need to go to the shop. That's the way.
Yeah. So then this is buying and being a landlord actually conceptually a smarter idea. If you don't want to give yourself any roots, because you want this laptop lifestyle, or you like the idea of being like location independent, as an investment then, buying a property and renting it out, considering more people are going to rent than buy, would make sense, no?
Why not? But the reality is that if you're buying it and you're renting it, so you're receiving the rent, you're still paying rent elsewhere. So you're not actually financially better off. If you're living somewhere and you're paying your own mortgage, that's fine. But if you're renting it, receiving the money, and then paying someone else's mortgage anyway, it depends on your lifestyle. Going back to the same thing, if they have a laptop lifestyle and that's how they do their business, it's fine. But you're not financially better off. Financially, buying a property, living in it, owning it, paying it off is a better way to go. But you don't get to see the world, which is what a lot of people are doing.
Could you be a real estate broker, potentially, and have a laptop lifestyle?
Not a good one, but you could be one. Listen, I think the way of the world, that's the way it is going, technology-based and internet-based. People don't, you know, have all the clients that we have, they go on the internet first and they inquire. So it is possible, but, you know, if you ask me, could I sit at home every day and do my diary and do my job, I know what I'd be doing. I'd be sitting down and all of a sudden I'd put Friends on or something, and then it'd be 5 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God, what's happened? What's happened? I was supposed to be working today. So
I'd put Friends on.
Friends is a great TV program. Evergreen. It's still funny. 20 years later.
Even though you've watched it 3 times?
I know all the words to every episode. And I got to go, that's brilliant.
If you were in Friends, who would you be?
Oh, I think I'd be Joey. Yeah, just a bit.
What is it Joey used to say?
How you doing? Yeah, he's a good guy, our Joey. I like him. He likes pizza. He's an actor.
Do you think that Joey plays dumb? Do you think you play dumb sometimes?
No, but I do hate people that play dumb.
Do you?
Yeah, like we've got an agent that works in our office and they're actually quite intelligent, but when they're speaking to a client, they're like, oh, I don't know. It's like a defense mechanism. You know, I genuinely am not very good with words. That's not my forte. But if I understand something and know something, trust me, I will follow through and tell you what I know about it. I don't like the defense mechanism behind playing dumb.
But you're not good with words, your own admission.
Yeah.
You're not good with numbers because you didn't do very well in maths.
I'm good with numbers.
But you're good with drama.
No, I'm really good with numbers.
Really.
Are you? Yeah, I am. obviously that's part of my job. I go through contracts for sales and numbers. I was rubbish at maths in school. But it goes back to what I said. Why do I want to know about algebra? Y times X equals 6. I'm never going to use that to buy my chicken and spinnies, am I?
No, but let's say you became a scientist.
I'm not a scientist. I'm a real
Let's
estate
say you had become a scientist.
Well, let's say
the
that.
world needs scientists.
Great.
How do they learn to be scientists without learning algebra or Pythagoras' theory? Or
that's great, but I'm not a footballer. I'm not a scientist. I'm an estate agent.
Why does a footballer need to know about math?
Why does a scientist need to know about real estate?
Because you employ loads of monkeys.
Whoa, not also other companies.
Oh, dearie me. Good old Lewis, back to it again. Hope you've enjoyed the show this week. I don't know how long we've been running today. We've been running long?
No idea.
Has it been a long show? Has it been a long show? No. 40.
That's good.
14 minutes. There you go. It's out. If you've got questions, you want to learn anything from what Lewis says about real estate, you want to learn about sales, and you want to get better at it, and you get mental blocks, or you want to get mentally unblocked with our mate Omar here, which you'll find Lewis on later on. Okay. If you want to learn, then a great way of learning is to send us an email, send us a message underneath this video. Okay, say, I would like to learn about this. Can you please ask Lewis that? Or Spencer, can you please tell me the answer to this? If you're in business, if you're in sales, if you're considering buying real estate, selling real estate, you will consider becoming a landlord, if you sell real estate, and if you're in business full stop and you need to create revenue and build a business, there's 2 people here that have done that relatively successfully. And because of that, we've got some value that we could add, some experience that we can share with you that can help you stop making the mistakes that businesses do make and help you grow where you want to go and succeed to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So that's all for today. We'll catch up with you on the next show. Hope you like the studio. Give us a bit of information on that. Do you like the studio? Do you like it?
Better than yours. Said that already.
We won't be going back to my studio. Well, we'll have somebody else. If you actually want any questions asked, I'd ask pretty quickly, okay, because you won't see much of Lewis again.
Bye.
See you soon, folks. Take care. Whatever you do, make sure that you make it happen.